Hey guys, what's going on? 3.26 patch notes are out, and believe it or not, I'm legitimately shocked that this was even on their radar. Death Aura, the ability granted by Death's Oath's unique body armor, was now buffed a quarter of its damage. Previously, 1,000 chaos damage per second. Gem level 20, now 1250. Which is kind of crazy because this was running T17s, T16s, no problem. Killed all the Uber bosses. I've never attempted to Uber stuff, just not what I aspired to do. But if you like flying through maps, T16, T17 farming, this build, do it no problem. So the fact that it got buffed with the damage is insane to me. And definitely what I'll be league starting, maybe doing this into Winter Orb. I saw Winter Orb got reworked and some beach stuff, so we'll see. That is what I go with the end game, but definitely league starting Death Dio build. So let me show you what I have. This is an old character, level 94. This is kind of what you're looking at, day 3 or 4, depending on how hard you go. Not too crazy. Defenses really aren't that there. Gear isn't that insane. The only thing that maybe will take, 5, 6 divines, if I recall, is going to make this bow. You need the Hunters, Exalt, Slam, Chaos damage over time on it. You need to get all the crafts, with the crafting rework, so you might need to get it somewhat into endgame anyways before you get this bow, but this bow wouldn't be until you got to like T15. The Chaos, you need to, the Chaos, the Divines, you need to craft it. This is probably the only bottleneck you would run into at first, but you can just get something that has damage over time on it, +1 to socketed gems, and you're good to go. The other thing is in presence. This is something that you'll need just for Despair. Has no reservation cost if cast as an aura. Also gives you some chaos damage over time and some attributes, which is definitely nice. Some chaos resistance because you'll need that as well. The gloves here, pretty standard. Life, resists. You can throw some influence on the top there for spell suppress, cast damage over time. Boots, nothing crazy. Elusive effect, we're using Withering Step. So that'll increase our movement speed and evasion, and then also spell suppress, some life, and also resist on there. Quiver, nothing crazy. Damage with bows, some chaos resist, other resist, some life, and then the ring here. So I have +1 to frenzies, 72 to life, chaos damage. You want to keep it a blue because if you have the blue on your right hand ring, you are hexproof when wearing it there, so that is nice to have. Or you can run it on your left slot if you don't want to take extra critical strike damage. So either one is viable. I have a MS set up right now for T16s, and I can kind of show you my really end game build when it comes to this. This is my kind of level 100. I have definitely, pie in the sky type of build, right? Bottled Faith, really good Hunters, influence gloves here. Yeah, this bow you can't even get anymore because it's got all that, I forget what the league that it was, but yeah, it's got all that crazy stuff on it. But it's just more or less the same with what we had originally, just better, right? All 3 resist, high movement speed. Rare with socket. Despair Curse effect is always huge. Anywhere you can get Despair Curse effect. Rings have chaos damage on it, +1 frenzy. Yeah, all that good stuff. So you can go crazy with it if you want. Or, even level 94 and having it just basically just a 6 socket. You don't need to have these linked. It works if it's not linked because it works on the chest piece. It's not the skill gem. So all you need, and this is awesome to get started. You can get this like on day 2 basically. If you get lucky, just buy a 1 socket Death's Oath Astral Plate, and then you can either socket it yourself to 6 sockets, which is pretty easy, and you're good to go. The hardest part is the coloring. I've had it hit in a couple hundred fusings. I've also had it go where I've spent well over 1,000 fusings to get the 2 red, 2 green, 2 blue. So have the RNG Jesus help you out there a little bit when it comes to the coloring aspect, but at least you don't have to link it, so it should help a little bit in the game. Let's jump into a map here. I'll show you a T16. Gonna be smooth as butter. You see down here in the skills, all I really have is a Val Caustic Arrow, Withering Step, and Flame Dash. And just regular Caustic Arrow on my right click. And that's just for attacking rares. Generally speaking, with the Occultist Ascendancy, you get the explosion. So normally they just all die anyways. You don't really, like, watch, I won't even use my caustic arrow on my, that is actually fixed Sphinx Link. Walk around. Every now and then you get bored, you're right, you want to cast a caustic arrow, boom, everything dies. Some rares, given the modifiers, are a bit tanky, so you might have to tap them a couple times. I usually save the Val caustic arrow for map bosses, but yeah. That's it. You just fly around, hit once in a while to make sure you're hitting Withering Step. That'll give you the movement speed and evasion. I have the Val caustic arrow ready to bossing, all the beat cards down. Let's go find them. But yeah, super chill playstyle. You can have a stream up, you can watch a TV show, just walk around, explode everything, go really fast. It's also nice for these kind of indoor layouts too, because you're not really getting messed up by your projectiles hitting things or block everything. And it also works in open layouts too, because you go so fast that it doesn't really slow you down. And like you said, you are using a bow, so you can cast. So here, well placed Val caustic arrow, put it into the bosses. It covers the ground, which is really cool. I missed. You do have to aim a little bit, but dead. Boom. It keeps it a little bit more of a fun play style, right? Because you do have to aim with the Val caustic arrow. It's that long streak across. So for bossing, and keeps you on your toes. It's not completely brain dead. That's fun. But yeah, that's it. Let's go check out the tree. So the tree, the only kind of really main things you need is probably this timeless jewel. So what it does is it converts 50% of elemental damage taken as chaos damage, and we're stacking a lot of chaos. As you can see, we are 70. Okay, that shouldn't be like that. Normally it's around like 80 or so. You get max resist there. 5 to maximum chaos resist. Why is that? Okay, but yeah, normally that's higher than that. Normally that's around like 80. So you're converting all the elemental to that. The fact that it's not at the moment and it's still easy is fine. For these smaller nodes, you want to look for anything that you may possibly need. Right now I have something garbage in here. So damage over time, resists are fine, movement speed, anything like that that will actually be beneficial is nice. And that's pretty much about it, right? You have your cluster jewels. So unwavering evil, and vile reinvigoration. Sorry for remembering that. Will help out a lot. So just damage over time, energy shield, chaos damage over time. Yeah, and like I said, this is low end. I could probably jump on my other guy and show you what the good ones are. Damage over time multi. And for the jewels, you also want chaos damage over time multiplier, and chaos damage and area damage are things that are really beneficial. Those three are the most important, especially chaos damage over time multi, what you really want to look for. So I should have that on everything. Yeah, increased damage over time, chaos. Everywhere on my tree. Also, Transcendent Mine gives you a lot of extra damage over time multiplier per 10 intelligence unallocated in the radius. So, just get here to where you need to. Also, area of effect, area damage is nice. Anyway, grab it. All these jewels I have chaos damage time, chaos damage. It's the bee's knees, all you really need, and that's it. D16's completely unoptimized and blast everything. Tons of stuff you could go around here if you want to get this early on. Leveling wise, let's take a look. If you want to level, you can level with Bane. You can level with Caustic Arrow if you want. I would suggest Wintertide Brand. You're kind of still sitting in the same part of the tree. Now that you can respec with gold, you can really level with anything that you like. It's not an issue anymore. Wintertide Brand you get very early on. It's damage over time stuff, so you can already kind of be somewhat geared when you do the swap over. Cut the side of the tree off and respec down here. Bane is literally an identical setup to what we're running. So if you wanted to run Bane just to make it easier on yourself, less confusing, you can just grab Bane, click around, damage over time, things explode. get the cultist. When it comes to leveling, pick what you want. Whatever you find fun, whatever makes the campaign enjoyable, and then you can swap over to Death's Oath. I would say, at least get some currency under your belt. Get the chaos recipe tool if you want to get that. That really helps the income of chaos early game. This build's great for expedition. Place the explosives down, stand by it. They come up, they instantly die and explode. Yeah, so pretty easy stuff. I'm gonna be playing it as my league starter. If you want to jump over and watch my stream, Twitch, Lamb Puma, I will be playing this. So if you have any questions, concerns, you run into roadblocks, feel free to jump over, ask some questions. You running around like a spaz and blowing things up. So hopefully you have a good 3.26 launch, and I hope I see you in chat.